We started with 32 teams and we're down to the last 2. The Philippines and Austria will contest the 2019 final, both just one win away from the biggest title in Team 9-ball, the World Cup of Pool. Will the Philippines win the trophy for the 4th time, or can Austria win the World Cup for a 2nd time in 3 years? It's time to find out. Here's a quick reminder of how each team reached the final, starting with the Philippines.
The Filipinos, a march into the final. Come through comfortably in the end, but it didn't feel that way.
The final is a race to 11. There's a 30-second shot clock in operation, with each team allowed 1 extension per rack, and it's alternate breaks rather than winner stays on. The Philippines won the lag and are ready to break, so let's join your commentators Phil Yates, Jeremy Jones, and first, Carl Boyes.
Rack 1, the Philippines to break.
So Carlo Biado gets this final underway. Don't forget, it's a race to 11 now in this year's BetVictor World Cup of Pool.
Well, a bit of a change there, a bit more of a head-on break on the one. Not much cut at all. Start off with a nice shot, but is this cue ball going towards that corner pocket, Carl?
Yeah, you would think it's certainly going in that direction, wouldn't you? Obviously, usually if he's looking down the pot and he's not really glanced at the corner, so that tells you it feels like he can. Well, he's just taking a look now, isn't he, Jeremy? So
yeah, and it's all about that cue ball being froze to that rail. Can't get on the bottom of the ball, so that's the worry. If he was just a little bit off, he would just address the cue ball and grip it and avoid this scratch, but I think he's really threatening.
do you think he was scared of the pace there? You know, if you play it a bit harder, maybe it throws even closer to the scratch.
Well, I think you're dead on there. I think position was really costly because of that possible scratch. Carl alluded to a little more speed. The cue ball bounces off the object ball a little bit more and changes direction. So that missing position there was all about a little bit of concern.
Phil, I think it's fair to say the Philippines, you know, they've really played well, but one thing I noticed is the shot-making ability. They've come with a lot of banks and, you know, them kind of razzmatazz shots.
Absolutely, but I think it's also been, particularly in the latter stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, the consistency of excellence, especially from Biado. I've been so impressed by him.
Yeah, and there was that match where it was hill, and Jeffrey played for me shot of the tournament when he rammed that 7-ball in the
Attention,
side
please.
off the back rail. That was unbelievable. I mean, if you miss that, you might not be in the final. So Mario He going airborne. You expect him to go close to this.
Yeah, probably a slight favorite to make it, in my opinion. 60-40 maybe.
Yeah, you'd have to settle for that if you was Mario, and if you miss the 2, you just hoping it doesn't go over a pocket or leave an easy pot.
Now he's got a choice on running the cue ball safe here. You can go either way. I kind of like going behind the 3 myself a little bit more. He could play behind the 7-8 also, though.
He's not attacking this pot, is he? Looks like he's aiming thin. He's aiming thin, and he's overcut it. So very attacking there from the Philippines in rack 1.
And that is characteristic Jeffrey De Luna. That's what he does when he's competing as an individual. I said earlier this afternoon he's been a little more circumspect in this event. He really is offense-minded.
Really nice line and speed on the cue ball there. And if the 6 passes the 9, which it appears it does, this rack should get cleaned up for Austria to get on the board first.
Goes without saying, Austria need to pick the performance up from the semi-finals. You know, I know what looked like a convincing win on paper v Spain. They made mistakes, and they'll know that more than anybody in this room.
Absolutely spot on. They made plenty of mistakes. It was just that the Spanish made even more. Quite often in Q Sports, the score sheet doesn't tell an accurate story. You can play well and lose. You can play ho-hum and win.
Still, it being the final, and these two teams have played really solid all week. I kind of expect a pretty high-quality final. I mean, you could find one player on each team that sometimes can fall a little bit the nerves, or just maybe starting off with a couple bad shots and play into the rest of the match. But overall, with the open tables, I expect these guys to be getting out when that ball's got to slow down. Wow.
Why not just play a stop shot and just leave him just off straight to draw back 2 inches, 3 inches?
Yeah, and if you want to come back, you got to know 2 or 3, 4 inches is fine. No reason to try and be perfect. And now, if he does make this ball, is he spinning this to get short position, or is he just going back and forth?
Yeah, he's played that lovely. Just wonderful speed on that ball into the pocket.
The story of the opening rack, quite simple. Jeffrey De Luna took on a risky 2-ball. He missed it, and the Austrians capitalised.
Rack 2, current score 1-0 in favor of Austria. Austria is breaking.
Yeah, I've been thinking about these 4 players and just been weighing the situation up, and I think something to think about is, you know, obviously it's a big match for all 4 guys, but Jeffrey's out there and he's not got his hand on that big major trophy yet, has he? As where obviously Austria have won this event, and Carlo's been through the heat and won a world 9-ball championship, so keeping on that. And it was a good break from Mario, and there's an opportunity here. Obviously the 3-ball is the kind of ball that sticks out at the minute as a bit of an issue.
Yeah, as long as he gathers an angle with the cue ball off the rail on the 2, I believe they'll be able to manufacture for the 3, but it is definitely the trouble ball of the rack. Oh, he's overcut that badly.
Honestly, Albin Ouschan, he has not been at the races in this tournament. The way he played in the last Mosconi Cup, in my opinion, I mean, we'll hear yours in a minute, Jerry, because obviously you've seen more of that Mosconi than anyone. I thought he was unbelievable in that Mosconi Cup. But this week, he's just not been there, and there's a lot of things. Look at Albin now. There's a lot of after shots where he's looking up at the sky. He feels like he's not hit the shot right, and yeah, it's been a funny one.
Yeah, and still in the final, so pretty amazing how great he is. But yeah, last year's Mosconi Cup, no one played better. It was a high-quality Mosconi Cup, which, with the American win, I was very pleased of. But yeah, it just seemed like Albin was ready to do whatever it took to get the W for Europe last December, and now some odd mistakes at times.
Extension, please.
For the last time, it's a 30-second shot clock. 1 30-second extension allowed per team per rack, and the Filipinos taking it right here.
Is he drawn to the back rail by the 4-9 and up for the 3? Oh, he just pounding it. And this is, I don't think he wanted to get to that side. I think he was trying to get to the short side, but nevertheless.
Well, if he did, that was a stroke of genius. Yeah, I think he was trying to come low, wasn't he? You certainly wouldn't be playing there. There's too much danger. You can sneak in behind the 7. You can scratch.
Yeah, I think if you were playing for this corner, you would have pretty much just stopped your ball on the 2, tried to hold it, let your partner just take the cut. Did you get him shape? Okay.
I've just noticed Jeffrey DeLuna does one of them things what you see a lot of amateurs do. He's got one of them magnetic things on, like his back pocket where he puts the chalk. You don't really see pro players doing that. Now you're going to tell me you've got one of them, aren't you, Jeremy?
Oh no, I've never been one of those that had that or snapped for a good shot. One of those when you make a good shot and they snap their fingers. It's never been me.
The only thing Jeremy's got magnetic is personality.
You're such a gent, Phil Yates.
You guys, and back to the table. Philippines in a prime position to tie this match.
Jeremy was talking about Jeffrey's cue power. I was in the practice room. It was actually this morning, and picked Jeffrey's cue up, and I was having a look. 25 ounces his cue is.
Wow, 25 ounces. Well, he stays in the gym, and 25 ounces, you better stay in the gym, I'll tell you that. When we talk about cue power, like when I teach back home, I really tell the people it's all about mastering up to about 70%. You really don't need much more than that when it comes to swinging the cue. But here, a jacked up 9-ball.
This is a tester for the former world 9-ball champion.
Oh, and a test pass with flying colours. The economy of that cue action and the way it was delivered, sweetness personified.
Welcome back to the World Cup of Pool final, where the scores between the Philippines and Austria after the opening 2 racks were all square at 1-1. In the third, a foul break by the Philippines' Jeffrey DeLuna led the 2017 champions Austria to clear up and regain the lead at 2-1. A dry break in rack 4 and a miss on the 4 ball by Albin Ouschan led the Philippines to restore parity in the final at 2-2. The 5th rack was a tactical battle lasting over 7 minutes before Austria gained the upper hand to regain the lead. We rejoin the action at the start of rack 6 with Austria to break. Commentary from Phil Yates, Carl Boys and Jeremy Jones.
Fantastic break there from Mario, and first glance looks like it's going to be quite favourable. 2-ball just runs on into that awkward spot and possibly stops. Yeah, I don't think that's a nice thin cut, so good break though, all the same.
Yeah, and even more difficult that it rested so close to that rail. I don't think it stuck to the rail, but that makes the safety just sliding behind that 3-6 a little more delicate if he chooses to go that route. He's got a couple other options, but that's the most obvious one. One thing about this shot is you know the 2's not going far most likely, so the jump cue may be available. I know these guys go to the jump cue often, but I really like the kick here. If he hits the bottom half of the 2, he's got a lot of action on getting safe. If he hits the top half of the 2, he could maybe separate the balls.
Yeah, this is where the class of Carlo comes in, because
Attention, please.
you feel like Jeffrey would jump this ball, don't you? But Carlo spotted what you were saying there. He knows. And there you see a wonderful kick shot. Fair enough, he didn't get the cue ball in behind the 6 and the red 3, but he hit it absolutely lovely, didn't he?
Yeah, you see how he hit it with some speed, so the cue ball, after hitting the 2, it's not going to have a ton of speed on it. Checked it up and knocked the 2 in a decent place. He is snookered, but Mario should be able to handle this. Now, if you hit it a little bit off, the cue ball leaks, the 2 may go into the 4. Oh, pretty nice containing shot. If you got the snooker, that's a plus. Now, this may be the offensive one you want to go for. Maybe. Just because you got 9 feet, Carl.
Well, when Jeffrey DeLuna's involved, you're always thinking about when is the explosive shot going to be unveiled.
Well, I think this one is justified, meaning the safety is just about as difficult. They don't have an extension.
No extension allowed.
Wow.
Nice shot.
What a mistake. Well, has he made it or not?
Yeah, he made it. Shot fired right at the timeline.
I think there was about a second left, just in the nick of time, literally.
Well, I'd like to go to VAR. I'm not sure about that.
Lovely.
It's awfully close.
I thought he'd shouted, "What a shot," because he time fouled. That's what I thought he was doing. I mean, it was a good shot, don't get me wrong, but
If you recall, Carlo Biado took the extension when he was playing safe. I'll tell you what, it was right on the borderline, that.
yeah, and let's get serious here, Jeremy. It's poor doubles play, that, isn't it? You got to know what's going on with your shot clock, surely.
Yeah, both were so involved in the shot. But I think it initially starts with the guy shooting a little bit, and then you expect your partner to help. But Carlo's helping with a lot of shots, so he may have lost track of the shot clock as well. But man, maybe a big changing moment in this match early.
Well, Carlo's not happy with the position he's in. The cue ball's naturally going to run into this 8, so make sure you put your 7. Sometimes you can forget about potting the ball because you're worrying about the cannon. Big shot coming up. Where's the 8 ball gone? This is the problem.
Yeah, and you'll notice when he shot the 7, he just overcut it a little bit, so he got a little more speed into the 8 ball and therefore putting it on the back rail.
Lovely. Come on.
He got one bank, but not the other.
So, you know, first glance, This is the 6th rack, and I think Jeffrey's getting a little bit carried away out there.
Attention, please.
I'd have to agree. We didn't see as much of the animated Jeffrey, maybe with some shots at times, but not so much the mindful animation. He's got to really talk with his cue stick and settle down.
You know what they say, in vino veritas, in wine is truth. In pressure is truth as well. You see the real player coming out, and De Luna is an excitable sort. Well, any controversy about whether that was a time foul will now be a moot point, because Austria win the rack anyway. Jeffrey De Luna with the second bank wobbles the 8. 8 and 9 are potted by Austria. For the first time, we have a 2-rack gap at 4-2.
Welcome back to Leicester and the final of the 2019 World Cup of Pool, where Austria have taken a 2-rack lead over the Philippines in this race to 11. This is the 7th rack. Commentary from Phil Yates, Carl Boys and Jeremy Jones, with the Philippines to break.
Well, we'll see if he's going to change the break style a little bit. I think they're going to stick to a head-on break, but he doesn't need all of it.
Jeremy, you've got the casting decision. Is it a foul or no foul?
Well, the only thing I looked at was the clock, and the clock told me it was a foul, because he definitely hadn't struck the ball whenever the time clock underneath their name on the stats said 0. So there were 2 zeros, and so. But I mean, there's mistakes all the time in sport. Referee, players, all of it.
Of course, the player can't see the graphic that we can see. All they can hear are the beeps, and I still believe he played that shot before the last beep.
So you're saying we're playing to the beeps, not the clock?
It's an audio thing, not a visual.
Well, I know we have a race to 11 here, but I get the feeling a little bit Austria's starting to smell a little blood.
Yeah, I agree, and to be honest, I think they know De Luna's, as you've said, he's just needs to focus. Carlo needs to try and rein him in a little bit, and of course that break shot couldn't really be helped. It was just one of them, but you know, he's played real solid this event, and as we've seen, the shot clock problem there, and a couple of poor positional errors, and the break sending the balls around the arena. Just dangerous territory at the moment for Team Philippines is this.
Well, as we say in America, when you're greased, you will slide a bit. And so he needs to get a hold of things. But the problem is a dry break here. Looks like 5-2s in our future. And then Austria breaks next. Not a whole lot of concern as far as running the balls here. You can see nothing really stuck on the side rails or across from each other. Just keep in control if you're Albin and Mario.
Of course, the job isn't done, far from it. But Mario, he must be really proud of himself. He's played superbly, not just in this match, but in the tournament as a whole. Come of age.
Well, that's the Albin Ouschan. I'm used to seeing that strike right there. Not saying it was a tough shot, but just pure all the way through. Nice acceleration and pinpoint with the cue ball.
Extension, please.
Well, he's having a good look at this, but that looks perfect to me.
Think it has anything to do with the draw stroke where he miscued in the last match?
Oh, he was playing it over the other side. I thought he was just going to pull it back with a bit of left.
Well, that's what I mean. He might have had a second thought, not liking what happened in the last match with a big miscue. Decided to punch it over.
Austria moving on.
Rack number 8. Current score is 5-2 Austria. Austria is breaking.
Yeah, and a break and run right there for the Philippines would have maybe taken a little edge off, and now it's probably gone the other way. Big pressure for the Philippines if they get an opportunity in this rack. I'm starting to get in the position they need it.
There you see the difference in the quality of break shot. Jeffrey was nowhere near making the one ball, and Albin slams the one ball into the middle pocket.
Yeah, really nice break, and really a bit unfortunate for Austria to get elevated over the 7, or we're looking probably at an easy 6-2 lead now, but now we're back, and he's going to have to show some cue power and some accuracy elevating, and he's got to come one row back across somewhat where he's standing now for the 4.
Yeah, and if you hit it too full, it might not come back down the table, so that looks pretty good. What a shot he played there.
Yeah, that was the other way to play it, and in my opinion, a little tougher way to play it. Having to hit the ball more full and get more natural draw to get position. He could have cut it a bit more and gained a little more speed on the cue ball coming across the table, but pretty sweet. He got to the shortest point for his ex-world champion partner to try and make a long one.
Nice stroke there from Albin. Austrians looking good now and breaking well, and I know there's a lot of pool left, but this is real worrying times for the Filipinos. It really is.
Yeah, and if they're faced with a tough situation, a tough shot, there's going to be a lot of heat on them. That being the Philippines. Austria with, it's all about just getting nice and tidy on this 7. You can see the 8 next to the 9. That's way light. Oh, that's okay, actually. It's not what he wanted. He wanted to get beyond the 7 a little bit and run the cue ball, but nevertheless, actually turned out pretty nice. Mario will just draw the cue ball over for the 8.
This is getting serious. Seriously exciting for fans of Austria. Seriously worrying for fans of the Philippines. 6-2. You know, when they won this event in 2017, the Austrians, they did not have an easy path at all. In the last 3 matches they played in that tournament, they beat England, they beat China 9-1, and they beat the USA in the final. They are no respecter of reputations, and I think they're good value for this advantage. They're more than halfway now to regaining the title.
Rack number 9, current score is 6-2 in favor of Austria. Philippines to break.
Well, one thing that bodes well for the Philippines is they have trailed in a few matches and had some tight ones. So like you said in an earlier match, they got to be looking to try and win a close one here, right? A big comeback, Carl, like 11-9, 11-8, 11-10.
Yeah, and they're going to need some help. And the 9 nearly went in, so that would have been very helpful. But, yeah, I'm not so sure. It all depends on where that 9's going, doesn't it? And the 5, and we just need to have a closer look. Ooh.
Yeah, I think he may be able to play the 5 off the 6 into the 9, or maybe some type of double kiss on the 9 off the 5. But first things first for Jeffrey, he's got to get a few of these down. That shouldn't have been a problem, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just got this little feeling it's a must-win. Is there a bank on the 5 possible? Just purely because of where the 4 is. You can sense this is a must-win rack.
And that overhead tells me the double kiss on the 9 is pretty doable. Although these are some deep shelves on this Rasan. We've seen him hold many up this week.
So that's the shot they're playing. This has got to go, hasn't it, Jeremy? It really has.
Yeah, and a better strike by Jeffrey there. It's a lot better to get it more full on this. You want a hair more speed than like some thin cut shot.
Two swift, clean racks in succession. A break and run there, completed with a combo. The Philippines will not wave the white flag without good cause. Right now, Austria doubling up on the Philippines, though. They lead 6-3.
Welcome back to Leicester for the final of the 2019 World Cup of Pool. After 9 racks, Austria have established a 6-3 lead over the 3-time champions, the Philippines, in this race to 11 racks to secure the title. The Philippines failed to make it 2 racks in succession in the 10th when Austrian star Mario He extended the European side's lead with a great 1-9 combination. The Philippines' bad luck continued in rack 11 with another dry break. The Austrians taking advantage yet again with another table clearance. Rack 12 was another long drawn-out safety battle, but when Biado missed the 1 ball to the corner, Austria cleared up to put themselves within 2 racks of victory. Was there any way back for the Philippines? As we rejoin the action in rack 13 with Carlo Biado to break, Carl Boys picks up the commentary.
And it gets from bad to worse because the 1 ball's over this top pocket, and I do believe there's a possible 2-9 combination, and if there is, you would think Austria will be on the hill.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to hit it perfectly as far as the 2-9 combination, so he only needs a sliver of the 9 to get a look at, to get that 2 on it. Wants to get kind of close though, so he'll float this with some English towards that 2-9.
One man who knows how the Filipinos will be feeling, David Al-Qaedi, just having flashbacks. Part of the Spanish team
Extension,
beaten
please.
heavily in the semi-finals by Austria.
So this is clearly tight, I presume.
It is one way.
I'm not sure that's the entire situation, but it seemed the beginning was there was a little bit out of
Rack
character,
number 14,
at least for this week.
Current score is 10-3 in favor of Austria.
Yeah, that's right, because we know he's that type of
Austria
character,
is
of course.
breaking
We
and on
do
the
see it a
hill.
lot, but certainly this week, alongside Carlo, he has reined it in a bit for me.
Let's not forget we could be one shot away from the end here. It's not going to be a golden break.
Or maybe ball in hand for the Filipinos.
Foul, table scratch.
Wake up.
Start the clock, please.
Did I hear Jeffrey De Luna there say wake up? I think it might be a little late for that. The alarm clock has long since gone off.
Sorry.
Did that get there?
Well, Carlo doesn't look impressed, so I suggest no.
Well, he may have gotten a shot, but not much angle because they got to get to the backside of this 3-ball.
Yeah, that's right.
And so just the arm not agreeing with Jeffrey De Luna here in this final so far. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, the crowd are clapping, but did he try and play for the combo, or was he trying to spin it and come above the 3?
Oh, definitely come above the 3. He would have just drawn it back for the combo, I believe. No, that's not going to get it. Not on this Rasan. So now a nice starter on a 3-7 combination to get this title and that big paycheck.
Six missed pots from the Philippines. With that, you're heading for strife.
I don't think this is going to hurt him as long as the 5 passes the 9. Now, if the 5 doesn't pass the 9, things have become tricky. And we saw Mario make one incredible shot elevated earlier
Extension, please.
to the same pocket on the 2-ball. This one's a little closer, though.
Well, why would Albin want to make it easy for Mario?
And I think it's the same situation, and what a shot.
Obviously, I can't remember the first 2 rounds. I can remember the missed 9-ball by Mario, but I really don't think I can remember him doing much else wrong. I really can't.
Well, it's probably insurmountable, and that they win this championship and most likely this rack. But you would have to, if there was an MVP for this event, you would have to think it's going to go to Mario He.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's going to trouble him, but it's not where Albin Ouschan wanted it. He wanted it a good foot lower and to the left. More than makeable, though, of course, and when you're 10-3 up, it's even easier.
Yeah, the pocket looks pretty big to Mario right now. Okay, what's he done with the cue ball? Is this going to get underneath the 8? Or is this going to go a little bit? It's going to be all right.
I think the engraver can start work. The trophy engraver.
Yeah, one good shot from Albin and it's all over, and it'll be all over from us guys as well. And thoroughly enjoyed commentating this week with Jeremy Jones, legend of the game, and Phil Yates, a legend in the box.
But don't sign off too quickly. Don't sign off too quickly.
Well, thanks, Carl, and I feel the same. And I wouldn't say too quickly, but I think Mario's going to hit nothing but dead center here, and Austria's going to take their 2nd World Cup title.
It would be appropriate, given the way he's played, if he pots this. He is the man. It's Ouschan's 11. 11-3 for the Austrians. Who would have thought they would have beat the mighty Filipinos by such a thumping margin.
Excellent tournament, Albin. Very nice tournament. Congratulations.
What a cool way to wrap it up.
Yeah, it was kind of, I'm not saying the Philippines did loads wrong in that final, but it was kind of fitting that they didn't run that rack out, and even more so Mario making a tricky 9-ball, and why wouldn't he? He has been absolute flawless. I mean, Albin's also played some quality shots, and at times he's done a few silly things, even by his own admission, but as you said, Austria, this year's champions. Fair play.
So congratulations to Austria, regaining the trophy they lost to China in 2018 to become the champions of Team 9-ball once again. A thoroughly deserved victory. Let's hear from the victors, Albin, Ouschan, and first, Mario He.
Congratulations, Mario. I'm going to refer to you now as what you've become known as Super Mario. Finally, we almost have a smile on your face. What a poker face you've had throughout this tournament. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling really great. I'm really happy to win it here, and
Lost for words.
yeah.
Are we nearly getting tears from you there?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'll move on to Albin. Albin, I got you a little bit emotional there. How are you feeling? Mario there, practically in tears. He is in tears. Are you feeling as emotional as that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think in the end he was just laughing about my positions. That was horrible. I was really, I was not shaking, but I was quite nervous and didn't feel that well in the final. But Mario played super strong, super solid over the whole tournament, and it's just great to have him.
And Mario, can I ask you, you recovered enough to answer what this means to you?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
I mean, it means the world, especially playing with Albin for the 5th time or 6th time, I think. And we are playing really great together. It's a really joy for me to play with him, and I'm really happy to win it.
Congratulations to Austria, the World Cup of Pool champions for 2019.